Hello my buddies and my pals. So I mentioned in a past video that I really wanted to get back into manipulating my negatives, so that is what we're going to be doing today. In this video, I cut my negatives and then I experiment with them on the scanner, and I also have a few little tips and tricks along the way. So buckle up, because this is gonna be a long video. I spent 2 days on this project. Day 1 was just me compiling all my negatives and making note of what I wanted to do to them, but now we're on to day 2. Alrighty-o, hello, this is day 2 of destroying my negatives. I guess yesterday doesn't count, but today I'm going to be manipulating my negatives. So I have a pile here. I have my laptop here, I have my scanner here, and then I have a few other things I might use. So I guess I'm just gonna go in order. There are a few things that I want to manipulate on my scanner, so I'll save that for last. The first thing I have, these are a couple shots I took in San Diego. What I want to do is split this into 3. So I'll get these out of the way. So I want to split them into 3 and then shift it a little bit. I think that'll be interesting. I'm just gonna go ahead and split this one into 3. You're probably thinking, I can't see what you're doing. So I have a makeshift light table. I just have my phone here, and here is the photo on top. I forgot my scissors upstairs, which is really cool. So I'm just gonna cut it this way. I'm not being too precise about it, because either way, when you scan it in, it's enlarged a lot, so you see all the flaws anyway, so I like being a little haphazard about it. So we got that. Okay, you can see the shape of the wave, so I want to continue that shape. So it's still messy, but it's still connected in a way. So maybe like this. You see the shape I'm talking about? Next, the next one I have here is overlay over house. And then I also want to experiment with the house one on the scanner. These two aren't necessarily destroying my negatives, but it's more experimenting with them on the scanner. So here's the house one I was talking about. You see there's a lot of negative space. Since the sky is so light, obviously on the negative it makes it dark, so I don't know how well another image is going to overlay on top of it because it's already so dense. So here's this one. Here is the other wave. See, I can tell we're gonna have some problems here. Maybe I should flip it the other way because the more important part is the houses. So I'm gonna try scanning it like this. My hands are really shaky right now. Maybe it's because I only ate French fries for lunch / breakfast. What I'm gonna do is get masking tape. Obviously, I don't have that with me right now, so I need to go backstairs. I just found out this camera stopped recording at some point, so that's really good. I have the house. I'm gonna overlay this on top and have the denser part of the negative on top of the sky, so you can see the houses peeking through. Another thing with using that, I think I have a lisp. I didn't realize this until my developing photos at home round 2 video, but I think I have a lisp. Anyway, another key in using masking tape is to reuse. I have like 4 long strips of masking tape that I've had since the last time I was in a classroom. So I'm gonna carefully tape it to the best of my ability without covering up the image too much. The image too much. So I've never tried scanning my negatives without the holder. So this is gonna be an interesting experiment. So there's the house. Don't know if you can see it. It's so dense. My scanner tends to autocorrect those kind of things. So we'll try, you know? And then the last thing I wanted to do with the house is as it's scanning, I wanted to drag the negative and maybe like wobble it around. Next, I made a note to overlay 9 on top of 21 or 22. This is 9 and this is 22 and this is 21. You can see that I underexposed here, so the negative is very, very thin. So this works a lot better when you want to overlay your images. The hand is almost barely visible, at least for now. So I'm just gonna line it up where I think the hand would be best. How satisfying, the sprockets are lined up perfectly. So this right here is what I'm gonna be working with when I scan it in. That one was really easy. I want to destroy my negatives, that's the whole point of this video. The other thing I have on this sticky note is I want to drag 10. So this is 10. This is a very creepy image of summer, and you can see my professor marked this one as one of her favorites. So I want to experiment dragging this one on the scanner as well, and maybe shifting it where her eyes are. And then something different, I have medium format. So I have both of my contact sheets here for both of my medium format negatives. We'll start here. So I want to crop and split 11. Some feedback I got when I presented this to the class is that the plant here is just really dark. Well, that's how it turned out in my final print. So I think I really want to just crop in on this white space and maybe have a black border. My mom is calling me. Okay, we're back. My mom dropped off kimchi fried rice. I've never cut up my medium format before, so this is almost painful. Also, this is one of my favorite shoots. This is the first time I'm almost hesitant to cut up my negative. I'm gonna cut it away from number 10. Put it back in the sleeve. I really don't want any of this, so honestly that could be taken care of in Photoshop. The only thing I really need to do is cut it and shift it. This is so sad. The question is where I'm gonna cut it. I think we're gonna go the old decapitating route. This one's also really simple. Oops. I can't decide if I want it to be super close together or if I want it to be apart like this. And then from this contact sheet, I took these two with the intention of cutting them apart and putting them together so it looks like her pose is different from what she's actually doing in the mirror, or like her reflection looks different than her pose. But the thing with using an enlarger to do that rather than Photoshop is that there's no way to do it seamlessly. I would often have either a black or white line in the middle of the split. So I guess that's the one good thing of incorporating Photoshop into this. So I'm gonna cut these two apart. I need to find a good place to split it. The placement of her knees is pretty much the same. However, there's a light leak on this one for some reason. So for sure, I have to use this side. I guess we'll see if it fixes itself when it overlaps on the scanner. Another thing I want to maybe experiment on is boiling my negatives. I've never done it purposefully, but I have done it on accident. I was developing my negatives and then I was at the very final part and I was rinsing and the water I used was way too hot, so it ended up boiling my negatives and it created a really interesting texture. It's not something I usually go for and it actually made my skin crawl, but I'm willing to display that on here if you want to see that. I didn't plan anything for this one. This says cut and nudge eyes for B, or sorry, I can't read my own handwriting, for 13 or 16. And I'm also going to attempt writing. I'll show you a good way to write on your negatives without actually writing on them. So that's just a really ugly scribble, but you can overlay that on top of your negative. So this is me. I hardly ever do self-portraits, so I think completely cutting this one up would be very on brand of me. Okay, so that's cool. I think I'm gonna go with the upside down one. That's pretty much my whole process. A lot of the times when I do something that I like, you're kidding, it wasn't recording. I don't know how long this wasn't recording for. I hope it got me cutting up my negative because that's the whole point. But oftentimes when I do find something that I like with my artistic process, it's usually on accident. I'm not gonna do the other side because it is hanging off and I don't want to prematurely crop it where I don't want it to be cropped. I really wanted to do some diptychs. I guess this is considered a diptych because it's separate. Okay. Cool. Now we're gonna get into scanning them in. Very curious to see how this one turns out. I just wanted to hop in voiceover format to explain what I'm doing here. Basically, I just taped fishing line to the bottom of the negative with masking tape, and as the scanner was scanning, I pulled the fishing line. What I found while I was experimenting was that the scanner will not scan if the lid is open. So my first thought was to use the fishing line so I didn't have to open the lid. The only problem with this was that I was pulling the fishing line blindly. I couldn't match up where the scanner actually was in relation to the negative, but after doing multiple tests, I think pulling blindly actually gave the best results. Okay, we're gonna try again, round 2.